Tonight, people all across Indianapolis are dealing with the aftermath of several weekend shootings. One of those happened in Thatcher Park on the west side, leaving a 36-year-old woman dead.
Now at 5, we are hearing from neighbors who weren't far from where that shooting happened. Our Brandon Schaff tells us what they saw.
Thatcher Park was quiet and calm on Monday, a stark contrast to the violence there on Saturday night. 2 people were shot, killing 36-year-old Courtney Haynes during a family gathering. Tommy Thompson with IMPD said that the community needs to hold themselves accountable by not bringing weapons and avoiding violence when there's a problem.
Everybody here, when we get into a conflict, has to know when they need to walk away, step away, use that resolution, that skill set, leave this situation, but don't agitate it.
And you can see here at Thatcher Park just how close those houses are back there. The neighbors that live there, they say that when those gunshots happened, they weren't even really sure if it was that or something else.
My wife come and told me she says heard gunshots, and I says, well, I thought it was fireworks going off, and so I just kind of blew it off, to be very honest. And then she said, look at all these police cars.
Fred Buckingham lived in the same house on North Cole Street for the last 65 years. That's right next to Thatcher Park. And he said that there was a shooting nearby last summer, but gun violence is rare there. Saturday was different. And he said that it's alarming that some people become violent when there's a problem.
It's not just Indianapolis, but it's our whole nation has come to that place where we want to kill somebody instead of just talking to them.
Buckingham added that the violence affected everyone in the park that night.
I look at the kids over there especially, and I thought to myself, these kids is over there just to have a good time, not to be around something like that.
There were 6 homicides in Indianapolis last weekend. However, Thompson said that criminal homicides are down almost 30% and non-fatal shootings are down almost 15% year-to-date 2025 compared to year-to-date 2024. Brandon Schaff, 13 News.
Police are also encouraging people to consider using city resources for help to hopefully keep those emotional, tense situations from turning violent.
Well, tonight, the Marion County Coroner's Office is working to identify a man who was shot and killed overnight.
Witnesses told Metro Police some type of disturbance in the house led to that shooting. It happened around 3:30 this morning near East 38th Street and Emerson. That's on the east side.
Police found the man in very critical condition before taking him to the hospital. That's where he died. At last check, investigators did not have a suspect. The Indianapolis FOP president issued a statement following this morning's shooting. In it, he asked 3 questions saying, quote, where is our mayor? Where is our council president? Where is our prosecutor? He continues, all 3 make clear they want to lead this city as mayor, but when leadership is needed most, they are MIA. Instead of pointing fingers and fighting each other, perhaps they could get in the game where lives are at stake. Again, that's from the FOP president. We have reached out to all 3 offices he mentioned, and the mayor's office responded to us, directing us to Joe Hogsett's statement on X, where he posted, quote, the gun violence Indianapolis experienced this weekend was tragic and disappointing. The city remains steadfast in our life-saving and life-changing gun violence reduction strategy.
Developing tonight, Cumberland police are now investigating a 12-year-old boy's shooting death as a homicide. Jeremiah Cotton died early Friday morning at an apartment where he was hanging out with 5 other young people. That's where Cumberland police say 4 witnesses told them a 16-year-old brought a gun to an apartment where Cotton picked it up and accidentally shot himself. However, the Marion County coroner has now determined Cotton could not have shot himself, and the coroner is now calling his death a homicide. So far, police have not made any arrests.
Right now, an Indianapolis man is fighting for his life at the hospital after a driver hit him on Friday on his bike. And tonight, that driver still hasn't been caught.
Now the bicyclist's loved ones are pleading for justice. Our Matthew Foltz reports from the hospital.
Yeah, family members of 28-year-old Jalen Brown tell me he is still here at Methodist Hospital in critical condition inside the ICU. And while doctors do everything they can to save his life, his family is hoping the driver who hit him turns themselves in.
Now, Metro Police say the hit and run happened shortly before 5 Friday morning near the intersection of Washington and Sherman on the city's east side. Brown's family and girlfriend tell me he was biking home from work and was almost there before he was hit. His older sister, Trina, says the family is still in shock.
Disbelief, I guess, is the only way to describe it. It was very shocking, very hard to hear. He is heavily sedated and on the vent, so there's really at this point, just trying to control the brain swelling.
Now, right now, Metro Police don't have a suspect vehicle description. However, they're asking anyone with any information to give them a call. Coming up here at 6 p.m. on 13 News, we'll hear more from bicycle pedestrian safety advocates in just the total amount of incidents we've seen involving bicyclists this year. Reporting here in Indy, I'm Matthew Foltz, 13 News.
All right, Matthew, thank you. Happening tomorrow, several new laws will go into effect across the state of Indiana.
And one of the most anticipated may be the speed limit on I-465. It's going up. A live look at a portion of the interstate where the speed limit will soon go from 55 to 65. Now, keep in mind the speed limit will not be going up everywhere.
Yeah, new speed limit signs will go up starting tomorrow or in the days soon after. Another new law taking effect tomorrow increases the tax on tobacco products.
Lawmakers passed a law raising the tax on cigarettes by $2 a pack. The state is also issuing new restrictions on Medicaid tomorrow.
That's right. Starting tomorrow, when you apply for Medicaid, the state will have to verify your income. The state also will check Medicaid recipients' eligibility every month. Now, you can read more about that law and several others right now on our website.
Just scan the QR code you see right there on your screen to check out WTHR.com/SeenOn13. Hey, Sean.
Hey, Dustin. I've got Cameron here. This is I-65 County Line Road in Johnson County here. About to intercept a shower, actually a downpour that's developed here. This is right over the Greenwood Airport. There's 31. Here's County Line Road. This is going to cross over I-65. And between now and really tomorrow morning, it's fair game at any time for some of these pop-ups here. We think something a little more substantial happens overnight and before tomorrow morning. But if you have evening plans, keep an eye on radar. You can see they're very hit and miss, but if you get caught underneath these, be very heavy. Heat index, 91 in Indy, near 100 in Terre Haute. And this is our last real muggy overall day. We're going to drop that muggy meter by this time tomorrow afternoon. The transition will be a little bumpy tonight. I'll have more on that in the forecast.